Hey everyone, I'm Piet Levy, music writer for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. We're here at Summerfest, wrapping up the first weekend for the first festival since 2019. Here with a couple of our music writers, Damon Joy and Captain Joswick, and we're going to talk about the best and the worst so far. But first, Damon, we've got to talk about what's it like for you to be back at Summerfest? What's this festival been like this year compared to previous years before the pandemic?
The best way to describe it is weird.
Yeah.
You're walking through some areas where before you couldn't even get through, and now like you can just walk straight through and there's plenty of space.
Yeah.
Not as many of the venues are full. It's still fun, but it's just weird. Things are missing, people are missing, and
yeah, I think that's definitely true. Captain, what do you think? You've been to Summerfest many times. How does this year compare to previous years?
Yeah, well, I agree with Damon. It is a little bit weird, a lot of space, a lot of bleacher space, a lot of places to sit, unlike previous years where it was really crowded and you had lines for everything. But in the same vein, I'm kind of happy about it because, again, there's lots of places to sit, no lines for the bathroom, so I'm just happy it's back, because it's been fun. I've seen some good shows so far, and yeah, just happy to be back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, from a consumer perspective, I think it's been really enjoyable because there has been no live music for so long. The bands, for the most part, are really giving it their all. They seem to be really happy to be back on stage. Fans are really having a good time. There is plenty of space, so if you aren't comfortable in crowds, for most shows, there's plenty of space to see the show without having to be shoulder to shoulder with strangers.
Got great views.
Yeah, great views, absolutely. And the vaccine checks, the negative test checks, those have been extremely smooth. I haven't seen like huge long lines for beer and food and stuff, probably because there is slow attendance. So anyone worried about staffing shortages probably shouldn't be, because it seems like it's been very, very manageable so far from an operations standpoint. So if you're on the fence about coming, I recommend coming because I think it's been really enjoyable. But of course, what's been most enjoyable has been the music. So Damon, what's been the best thing so far that you've seen?
I have to go with probably T-Pain. And I know I mentioned that he moved like a gazelle last time we saw him.
Yeah.
The guy his dancing is phenomenal for his size. Not that that's a big deal, but he moves and he can sing at the same time. The only thing I really didn't like was he was kind of singing over his vocals.
Sure.
Which, since he just won that Masked Singer, like it was just kind of weird for him to do. Yeah. But it was still cool. He drew a really, really weird crowd too. Like kids in their 20s, their parents, everybody was there, which you can probably attribute to the Masked Singer, of course, but really just put on a phenomenal show. And he's by himself, no hype man, nothing, just him, no one else.
That's awesome. Yeah. What about like a worst show or most disappointing so far? I mean, music's back, that's great, but what's been disappointing?
I would say my most disappointing show would probably be DJ Diesel, which I didn't know it was Shaquille O'Neal at first, obviously, because I didn't do any research like I'm supposed to. And it's just kind of like, it's him. It's Shaquille O'Neal putting his arms up and pointing at people and pressing buttons. And I'm a DJ. So from a DJ perspective, it wasn't great. But the kids loved it. The people were jumping up and waiting for the drop. And they went nuts every time a song dropped. And plus, you have to really be in the EDM to really appreciate it also.
Do you think he's better as a DJ or better with free throws?
Oof. I can't even answer that. Because honestly, one of his entourage would come up every once in a while and tweak it for him once in a while. So I don't know where he's at exactly DJ-wise, so I can't even call it.
Gotcha. Well, Catherine, what about your favorite thing you've seen so far?
I would have to say the Chris Jansen show. It was a small crowd at the U.S. Cellular stage, but he got the crowd really fired up. He was very passionate, just really at ease on stage, like real natural. And he gave his band a lot of credit. The band was really great. He said a few times how smoking they were. So yeah, he put a lot of passion and energy into the show. It was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And I have to give an honorable mention to Men Without Hats.
Cool.
I did not review the show, but I had a really great time. I watched about an hour of it at the Briggs & Stratton stage. They were just fun. The keyboards and, the lead singer was kind of on stage dancing around. The crowd was really getting into it, and you could tell a lot of 80s New Wave fans were there, and they played the safety dance twice, so they had the audience in mind, so I have to give them a shout out. So
Can't go
that
wrong
was
with
great.
the safety dance twice, for sure.
Yes, yes.
But what did go wrong? Was there anything that you didn't like so far at Summerfest?
Well, I would have to say the least strong show would be Falling in Reverse. They really seem to connect with the audience. The lead singer, Ronnie Radke, definitely has a following. He definitely has the angsty, angry thing down. But his vocals are really indecipherable. He was kind of hard to hear, and the sound was kind of drowned out. I think maybe the amps or whatever were turned up a little too loud. And the band was kind of static, kind of just standing there. But he did connect with the audience. It was a good crowd. And at the end, they were like chanting his name to get him to come out and do an encore. So I can't say it was a bad show by any means, but perhaps the least strong of the three, shows I reviewed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so far, like I said, I'm just happy to see live music. But I will say, Curtis Blow, it's wonderful that Summerfest booked Curtis Blow. I think it's great that there's such a wide range of hip-hop representation at Summerfest these days. There hasn't been for many years. That said, he came out like 40 minutes late and did the breaks within 10 minutes and seemed to be kind of gassed. But, great that there's a hip-hop legend here, but kind of disappointing nevertheless. There's been two really great shows. Speaking of hip-hop, Chance the Rapper did an amazing show. It was a pretty empty amphitheater for him Friday. It was his only show of 2021. His last album was The Big Day in 2019, which is kind of an underperformer. So probably not a big crowd because of that, and also because of COVID concerns and things like that. But man, he just put in so much energy and so much heart into that set. I just feel like when he drops new music that really resonates, I think he'll be just kind of back on top again. And Green Day too, at the Hella Mega Tour on opening night. Oh, what an incredible band. Billy Joe Armstrong is like one of the most electric frontmen I've ever seen. He just really had that crowd in the palm of his hands, and there's just hit after hit after hit. I mean, they only played for like 95 minutes, but just felt like a 3-hour epic because every song had like a really incredibly intense moment that's kind of like permanently engraved in your brain. It was that good of a show. So, a good start so far, and there's still 2 more weekends to go, and there's plenty of coverage at jsonline.com/Summerfest. Damon, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk again soon.